Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today I'm going to be talking about 10 fragrances that I don't wear enough from my collection that I do really enjoy and I want to wear more, so stay tuned for that. And if you like top 10 lists, fragrance reviews, clone comparisons, and first impressions, hit that subscribe button for more great content. So I saw somebody else, I forget who it was, who had done a video similar to this, and I thought it was actually a really good idea because I have, especially lately, been trying to sort of trim my collection down, keep it a little bit tighter, and keep it to fragrances that I really love and I really enjoy wearing. Because, you know, when you have like 50 plus fragrances, I might wear one fragrance once every couple of months, and I want to kind of change that a little bit, focus on fragrances I really love, wear them more frequently, and maybe even one day finish an actual bottle. So I'm going to talk about 10 fragrances that I don't wear enough from my collection, and yeah, let's get into it. The first one, I will say some of these are, you know, fall winter fragrances, but it is at least a little chilly now, so I can pull off some of them for sure before it starts getting a little bit warmer. The first one is Side Effect by Initio. This is a beautiful, boozy tobacco fragrance, although I don't really think about it as overly tobacco heavy. There's a bit of tobacco in this one, but it is mostly boozy, sweet, cinnamon with a nice bed of tobacco. But the booziness comes off to be so boozy in the opening that it doesn't actually smell like rum to me. It actually has an almost aquatic vibe. And as I've mentioned in at least a few videos, something about the opening gives me this orange crush vibe that I actually really enjoy. And maybe it's because I used to drink spiced rum and orange crush, which is a beautiful drink, by the way. You should try it out. Maybe that's why I have that vibe with that one, but this is one I definitely need to wear more. It is a nice performer. It is a fragrance that other people really enjoy. Some people do find this fragrance to be a little bit feminine, and I guess I can agree with that. But I love it all the same, so definitely one to be wearing a little bit more. Next one, I actually recently got this one, but I guess partially because of circumstances, I didn't put too much of a dent in it. And it's Angel Share by Kilian. This one to me is actually, I'll mention that I do own Wajan by Perfumes Demarli, which is also a great fragrance, but it's almost done. The bottle's almost empty, and this is a nice replacement. Now, they don't smell exactly the same, but they have a similar sort of cinnamon apple pie kind of a vibe. This one has a little bit more character in the sense that it's actually fairly boozy in the opening. I do get more of an apple vibe, and this one does also, well, they both perform really well. But this is another one that is just really great if you love that apple pie DNA. And, you know, if you either don't have one of those fragrances in your collection or you like it enough that you don't mind having something similar that is just different, then Angel Share is a great choice. So, like I said, it does have similarities to Wajan, even some kind of similarities to Rosé All Day or Ombre Narguile, but it does smell different as well. So it has its own dimensions while still being one of those apple pie fragrances. Great fragrance, do check it out. This next one I actually did manage to wear the other day. It was not too warm out, and I thought it would be a great fragrance to wear, and that's Saddle by Svensk Parfums. Now this one I've had for a while, but I haven't worn it that much. Starting to get a little bit of a dent in, but I definitely want to put a bigger dent. I'd love to get this down to about 3/4 left. Let's say by the end of next fall, because I'm not going to wear it too much in the winter, in the summer, because this is a little bit of a heavier fragrance. It's butterscotch and leather. The leather is really nice, a very polished, luxurious leather. And to me, the leather actually plays more of a supporting note. You get really this sweet butterscotch, and I believe caramel is a note as well. But to me, it is very dominated by that butterscotch, which is nice because I think butterscotch and leather is a very unique combination. But that's a great one. Did manage to wear it the other day, and I think before summer heat gets here, I'm going to try and wear it again, and I'm definitely going to put a nice dent in it in the fall. This next one I've had forever. I'm almost about halfway done, but Bleu de Chanel Parfum. You know, it's funny because with all the fragrances that I've smelled and all the fragrances that I've tried, I still really enjoy this fragrance. And I think it kind of got lost in the mix because there's a lot of other fragrances that I worn, but this is one that, you know, it is a people pleaser. It's very easy to wear. You know, it is good for an office fragrance because it isn't beast mode in any way. It does sit closer to the skin than the other Bleu de Chanels, but It does smell a little bit more refined, a little bit more well put together, and it is actually a really great fragrance. I would love to finish this bottle off. It's still going to be a while, but I think I want to get this to halfway down. Maybe let's try for the end of summer. That's maybe a little ambitious, but going to try and put a bit more of a dent in this one. Now, another one that I did recently get, so this is one of the reasons that I haven't worn it a ton, but I have still worn it decently for the amount that I've had it, and that is Single Malt by Kilian. This is my favorite boozy fragrance, by the way, from Kilian. You know, I like it more than Straight to Heaven Extreme. I definitely like this one more than Apple Brandy. It is similar to Apple Brandy, so if you have Apple Brandy, you might find this one redundant. If you kind of like Apple Brandy, but you're not sure, you might actually like this one more. Biggest characteristic, boozy plum. It smells a little bit more like rye whiskey to me than anything else. Has a nice woody undertone as well. Something in that woodiness sometimes has a slight smokiness, I find. And that's something that I think plays into it being a bit of a whiskey. You get this sort of aged, smoky cask feel as well. Really beautifully done fragrance. And this is one that I found that a lot of people do seem to enjoy this one, which I was surprised about. It is definitely a little bit more of a niche type fragrance, and yet I find it very easy to wear. So nice fragrance, not too beast mode, so you can spray it without, you know, filling up an entire room, but it's a great fragrance. Next one, the so-called signature scent if I were to have one, and that is Viking. So spring definitely is a good time to use this one. And even in summer, I think certainly on some days you can pull this one off, but it's a really, really nice one. Fresh, spicy, minty. It has this nice clash between the spicy and the fresh, cooling mint. And it has actually rose in it and still manages to smell very masculine. It has, to me, it's a modern barbershop fragrance. If you do like those kinds of fragrances, one to check out. I think, you know, it is one that definitely received a lot of hate, but it is a really good Creed fragrance, and I would put this, if not my top Creed, it would be my second. The only that would beat it to me right now would be Arolfa. Now the next one, I actually wore it just the other day, but I let it sit since I bought it a lot, and I haven't worn it that much, and that is Sultan Vetiver. So did recently do a comparison of this with Encre Noir, of course, or Fragrance Battle. This one did end up winning. It is sort of a higher quality fragrance. It has this really beautiful wet vetiver accord, which comes across as a wet woody vibe. The woody vetiver, sometimes it's smoky, sometimes it's more of a dry woody, sometimes it's smoky again. The only kind of vetiver I don't really get from this is it's not soapy at any point, but really, really nice. A little bit of citrus in the opening. This is certainly a true gentleman's fragrance, and if you love vetiver, do yourself a favor, check out Sultan Vetiver. It's probably one of the most complex vetiver only or vetiver dominant fragrances that I've ever smelled. Very, very nice one. Now the next one, especially as we're moving into the season for it, Parfums Demarli Sedley. Some people have said this one smells like Boss Bottled Infinity. At least from when I tried it, I wouldn't agree, but I did only try it briefly in the airport. But this is such a beautiful, fresh, fizzy fragrance in the opening that, to me, this is the 2020. They absolutely fixed the performance problems. It's almost too much, to be honest with you. If I go 2 sprays with this one, for me personally, it really jumps off my skin for a long time. Very strong projection and sillage for at least 3 or 4 hours. And it does last much longer. I would say closer to 8 plus. And really what you get is this really nice, fresh, citrusy fragrance, fizzy opening. It has a little bit of that blue vibe without being overly so. It has mint in it, which isn't super strong, but you do definitely get a nice hint of that mint, which adds a very nice, crisp character to the fragrance. This one dries down to be quite woody. So it's a very, very woody dry down, but nonetheless, very nice. The next one, top 3. This one I've also had for a long time, and the thing is I've reserved this one mostly for dates, even though it is a very versatile fragrance, Dolce & Gabbana The One. It's just such a beautiful, slightly sweet, ambery tobacco fragrance. You know, I did recently do a review on, I believe it was The One Luxurious Night? I forget what it's called already. The One Luminous Night, which Has a very slight similarity to this one, but I find it to be quite different. It's also very, very good. Much, much fruitier, much sweeter, much denser in that fruity sweetness. This one is a lot denser in the tobacco amber vibe. Does have a little bit of a citrusy pop in the opening. Very nice. Projection, moderate. For me, it lasts about 6 hours, which actually is not that bad. And a lot of people complain about, yes, it would be great if it projected a little bit more and lasted longer. But ultimately, it does the job for me, so it's really not that bad in that department, in my opinion. I just bring a travel spray. It's not that expensive anyway, so I don't mind respraying it after 5 or 6 hours. So we are into the top two. First one is a new acquisition, and it is the right season for this fragrance. Spring Summer Beast, in my opinion, in the sense that it's a fantastic fragrance. It smells amazing. Allure Homme Sport Cologne. Such a beautiful orange lemon. If you like the mixture of those two notes together with a hint of neroli and a nice freshness, this is a really, really good one. Performance is actually not that bad. I get about 6 hours, and for the sense that this is such a fresh fragrance, and I wouldn't expect much more than that. Of course, it's always better if it does, but the performance, it's really not that bad. A little bit of sillage. It does definitely become a little bit closer to the skin after about 2 hour mark. But man, that citrus really pops. So it does have one of the best openings. Moves into more of a bit of a citrusy neroli note as it starts to dry down, but beautiful. And one that doesn't get talked about too much from the line. I know a lot of people talk about Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Personally, I'm team Allure Homme Sport. I like it better than the Eau Extreme. And this one, I gotta say, is quickly becoming my favorite from the line. It's just so good. So nice, great citrus fragrance. Top one I've had for a while. It's a bit of a luxurious fragrance, and so it doesn't get tons of wear, but I want to wear it more just because it is very thick, very dense, and that is Italica. So this is just a really, really good creamy almond biscuit kind of a fragrance. Opens up with this nice little bit of a hint of strawberry, and it's very, very subtle with this nice, beautiful, dry almond note that then turns into this very nice, creamy, milky toffee almond. Very sensual fragrance. Very, very good, I think, for dates. It's very good for a little bit more upscale occasions. Definitely good for more close encounters, just because it does come off to me to be so sensual. Really great fragrance, and I don't wear it enough, even though I have it. I don't want it. I just don't want it to be here for 10 years. I want to actually enjoy it while I have it, and definitely, especially in the fall, winter, I'm going to be making more of a dent in this. I might wear it once or twice before the summer hits, but it's definitely not one for the summer, as it's very, very thick. Sillage on this one, the sillage, I should say, is beastly. It's not a super projector, but it's very thick. So you get this really nice cloud around you that people are going to smell. As you walk by, people are going to smell it. Absolutely beast in the sillage department, or the sillage department. Really, really good fragrances. So let me know, what are 10 fragrances from your collection that you want to try and get a little bit more aware of, that maybe you've been neglecting because there's other fragrances. Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.